Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another FlowFish video. One of the things that I want to try and do for the 2026 World Cup is do a daily upload every day, reviewing the previous day's games and just kind of talking through them. So, match day one just ended for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. We had Mexico play South Africa in Mexico City, and then we also had Korea play Czechia in Guadalajara later in the day. And I just kind of want to run through the game, talk about my thoughts, what I saw from the game, how I felt about them, and try to make this a daily thing as we go through the World Cup for anybody to get to check out the game or just looking to hear a second opinion. So first game was Mexico versus South Africa. There was a huge home game for Mexico playing in Mexico City, and they absolutely dominated the game. They won the game 2-0. There was actually a total of 3 red cards in the game, 2 for South Africa, which put them down to 9 men on the pitch. And then at one point, Mexico took a red card, which put them down to 10. But that was at the 90th minute, so it was at the end of the game and nearly made no impact. But, you know, Mexico is certainly the favorites of Group A, and we have a feeling they're going to take the number 1 spot. But I would have thought we've seen a little more fight out of South Africa. Mexico is a pressing team. They want to attack. And South Africa did a good job of breaking the press at times, but they would just rush themselves or weren't able to link up the play or just make bad passes overall. And it was frankly terrible to watch for a team that's qualified for the World Cup. You're just kind of wondering what's going on right now. And Mexico dominated. And at one point, what happened was South Africa was trying to build up from the back through their center backs, and a bad pass was made, resulted in a turnover, and Mexico was able to score about 9 minutes into the game. And it was Julian Quinones, if I'm mispronouncing that, forgive me, which was a huge win and put Mexico up almost nearly immediately before they even hit the 10-minute mark. And at that point, you could kind of see Mexico relax a little bit. And obviously, the energy of the fans erupted, getting the first goal on the board to start the World Cup and for Mexico. It wasn't until the 67th minute when they were able to get their second one in the second half. It was Raul Jimenez, and I believe it was off a header from a beautiful cross in from Alvarado. It was beautiful cross in the center. Jimenez came across, was able to head it in the back of the net, put them up 2-0 shortly after that red card from South Africa. Most of us had Mexico as a favorite to win this match. I think it was just more so seeing how competitive South Africa was going to look and if they were able to at least weather some of the storm of the Mexican attack. And they did not. They didn't look confident in the ball. They weren't cohesive as a unit, and they were just making bad passes and making bad turnovers and had very little resemblance of an attack. It fed into Mexico's energy for the fans as well as the team. The team even seemed super relaxed at one point too. So South Africa took 2 red cards. One was at the 49th minute by Sinhole, and the other one was at the 84th minute by Zwane. I think the one in the 84th minute was kind of soft, but the one in the 49th minute was certainly worthy. It was a goal scoring chance for Gutierrez. Sinhole came from the backhand side, just totally wiped him out, not even really making a clean play on the ball, and was awarded a free kick outside the box, which nothing came of but the red card, which got him sent off. But Mexico seemed almost a little too relaxed at one point. And in a tournament where third place teams are going to qualify and goal differential is going to make a huge difference. And being up a man, you would have thought they would have really put the pressure on, put the pedal to the metal there, and get some more goals out of that and really push the tempo. And they seemed really relaxed. They didn't. It wasn't until that 67th goal, the 67th minute, Raul was able to, I believe it was another turnover, and it was a good cross in, and Jimenez was able to get his head on it and put in the back in that. But their attack seemed very limited. And very controlled. It wasn't a full blown pressure. So we'll see how that looks with it later on in the tournament. But from the 9th minute in, when they got the first goal, Mexico totally had the game in hand. Mexico ran a 4-1-4-1 tactic, which was interesting and certainly worked well for them. They made a couple substitutes. We did get to see Moira get substituted in after they scored the second goal, which Gilberto Moira is 17 years old. He's the youngest player in the tournament this year. And there's a lot of hype about this young player. He's a great talent, and we hope to see him more and more and see him accomplish some special things, because I believe the hype is real, and this young man is going to be a great player, not only in this tournament but wherever he plays in the future. South Africa ran a 5-3-2, which again I don't think was really a bad formation for them, they just struggled to turn anything to the attack. They were able to beat the press from Mexico, but they really lacked some sort of cohesiveness and working together. They would put balls through and nobody's running, or they would make a pass and it would just be a terrible pass, and it was just tough to watch for them, frankly. After you saw this from the first half, you kind of knew Mexico was going to win this one. It was just a shame to not see South Africa put on a better showing. Our second game of the day was Korea versus Czechia, and this one was a really good game. It was certainly tightly contested at one point. Another Group A matchup. All the teams that played today were in Group A, but let me tell you, Korea, I don't want to say surprised me, but they looked really good. Their short passing play was fantastic. Their movement of the ball, their ability to create attacking opportunities, it was phenomenal, frankly. I thought they did a fantastic job, and they really put the pressure on Czechia early on. From the first half through the second half, they were just consistent in their short passing game. They were great. Their movement off the ball was fantastic in regards to attacking. They were always supporting each other. They were always these short passing link-up plays, and then the ability to get it into the box or put a run through to create a scoring opportunity. So a lot of props to them. Again, not something I was surprised of, but certainly really exciting to watch and see. They ran a 3-4-2-1 with Heung-min Son, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that, playing at the top of the key, which is, for those that are notable soccer fans, he played at Tottenham for most of his career, now plays LAFC in the MLS. And boy, for the first half too, the work rate of him was incredible. He was sacrificing everything to really try and get a goal for Korea. He had so many chances and opportunities, and he was really pushing the pace and really working hard. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to capitalize on that. But the second half is when Korea was able to come to life and get these 2 goals to win the match. They ended up winning 2-1. They scored in the 67th minute was Hwang In-bam in the 67th minute. And they scored again in the 80th minute, which was Hoye Gayu. And then Czechia had a goal in the 59th minute, which was from Ladislav Krejci, their captain. Funny and interesting enough, Korea dominated possession. They dominated control. They were creating most of the scoring opportunities, and Czechia was the first one to get to score in this game. It was a long throw-in, kind of a broken play, and Krejci had a nice run-in from the top of the box, was able to get his head on it and put that in the back of the net to start the scoring for this game. Czechia had another goal later in the game on a free kick that was crossed into the box, but that was actually overturned for offside. So Czechia almost had a chance, a slight chance to take the lead again when they scored that goal. It was after Korea had got their first, so it was a good response for them. I think Czechia certainly displayed their size advantage and physicality. I think that was a big strong suit for them, but they did not handle the ball a lot. It was Korea dominated possession in this game and the attacking opportunities, and Czechia was certainly more on the counter attack. Czechia was utilizing more of counter attack strategies in order to make chances for them, as well as utilizing their strength and their size on these set pieces, which again, both of their goals were scored off of. One was a long throw in into the box, and the other one a free kick that was whipped into the box that was overturned to offsides. But I think they played well. They certainly had a chance to stay in this game. Of course, if they had gotten that goal on the free kick, they potentially would have won. But a lot of props to Korea. They looked really good, like really good in dominating possession, in their ball movement, in their attacking, in creating chances to attack. They felt loose and they felt free, and they're just very fluid with the ball. It was really incredible and exciting to watch. I'm interested to see how Korea and Mexico match up against each other. I think that would be a really good match. I want to say the teams are very similar to an extent. Mexico certainly has that physicality presence in Jimenez, so getting those crosses into the box might give them an upper hand. But the ball movement of Korea was, something to marvel at. So really look forward to that matchup and see what happens. So right now we're looking at South Korea, and Mexico, both with 3 points, getting their victories today, and Czechia and South Africa looking at 0 points. Tomorrow we've got a interesting matchup. It will be Canada versus Bosnia at 2 p.m. and then the United States takes on Panama that evening. So for all my U.S. brethren, we're excited to watch that match, and I think the Canadian-Bosnia match should be pretty interesting. I think Canada should come out ahead, but Bosnia certainly went through the trials to qualify the World Cup, so we'll see how they perform. Thanks for tuning in for Match Day 1 recap. I will see y'all again for the Match Day 2 recap.